It has already been a week. Some time has gone by. A lot of people having different opinions on the game. But today is the first episode of a varied version of my raw review, and that is of Modern Warfare. So for the first episode, I guess, of this variant of my raw review is 1 week in to Modern Warfare. What do I think of Modern Warfare? What do I think they can improve? What is my general opinion on Modern Warfare at this current point in time? So, as you guys know, my raw reviews are pretty much uncut. It's all literally raw thoughts on how I think about the game. Anything is my opinion. Any and all thing about this game. Any review I ever do is all about my opinion. So, anyways, without further ado, let's go ahead and get into it. So let's go ahead and get into the pros. Pro number one, and I really have to point this out, is the customization in the game. You have operators that you can customize. You got a whole bunch of attachments for your weapons. You got a load of customization when it comes to your lethals, pretty much your classes. You got a lot of lethals to choose from, a lot of tacticals to choose from. You got a lot of guns to choose from, and you got a lot of attachments for those guns to choose from. There's a lot of stuff there. There's a lot of challenges that gives you variants for weapons. Just a ton of customization that is in this game. I'm not even mentioning the 100 plus camos that you can unlock for each gun, which is absolutely crazy. So next pro is, nobody really talks about this one, but I think it's one of the biggest pros ever, and that is customizing your loadout mid-game. So like, say you're in a map that you need to change up your lethal or your tactical, you can just go in there and you can change up your lethal or tactical. You can, instead of doing a frag grenade, you can put on a Semtex. Instead of doing a flash, you can put on a snapshot grenade. If you don't like that attachment on your weapon, you can just swap it out. It's really cool. You want to change a perk? There you go. All in mid-game, all at one time. It doesn't change right there where you're at. You have to respawn in order to get that new class set up. And that, I think, is fairly balanced. We don't want another one-man army, so that's pretty good. All in all, that is a really big plus for me, to be completely honest. Next is the ground war mode. While there are only 2 maps, unfortunately, to be completely honest, it's very unfortunate that there's only 2 maps. The city map is okay, but I think Karst River Quarry is my favorite of them. Even I don't think that map is like that great, especially with the hill to where a bunch of snipers and tanks can camp up and, you know, shoot onto the map. But this map is at least tolerable to a certain point. The city map I do like, but there's a lot of building campers that can be on the map, and it can pretty much kind of ruin the flow of the game if pretty much the entire enemy team is just camping on rooftops. But at least you'll probably get yourself a win. But all in all, I always love seeing Battlefield, anything Battlefield related coming to any sort of shooter game, and especially Call of Duty. I never thought I'd see the day where I see a Battlefield-like game mode in Call of Duty. So easy pro for me. I hate that there's only 2 maps, but I'm pretty sure that they're gonna add more over time. And again, they're going to be free. So that leads to my next pro, is completely free content. We didn't get any of this free content yet, but just the fact that we know that whenever a new map comes out, we don't have to pay extra for anything. The no supply drop thing, I'm not sure if that's true yet. I'm still holding out hope, but you know, if that's true, then that's already a pro for me. 10v10 mode, there's only 1 map in it that I like, and I think it's a kind of cool creative like expansion to just the respawn game modes. But that's really it with those modes. With that, 6v6 is okay at best. I kind of consider that a pro and a con. It's kind of like in between right now with me. And I'll get to that here in a second. The campaign is absolutely tremendous. The story is very engaging. You care about the characters. You're just really engaged in the story, and I love how it's so grounded to reality, and it's just absolutely amazing. The Spec Ops mode is actually really cool. It's extremely hard, sometimes unfairly hard. Like, sometimes I feel like they didn't really test some of it, but whenever like you're just playing and, you know, you don't get, I mean, you might not complete the mission, but it's really cool how they have the maps, and like how they're really big maps, and how you can enter any situation as you please. Even though you got to do some like objectives, you can still approach them as you wish, and that's really cool in my opinion. So the Spec Ops, I think, is really nice in this game. So, and that's pretty much it with the pros. I think the rest of the cons, yeah, let's just go ahead and get into the cons. So the first con is a majority of the maps in this game. I don't think they're too large or anything like that. I just think that when it comes to realistic environments in a Call of Duty game, there's got to be some limit that you put in. So take that city map in Ground War, for example. Every single rooftop you can get on and you can access, and sometimes that becomes a little bit too much. Sure, verticality gameplay is great and all, every once in a while, but whenever there's too much of it, it begins to become a little bit too much. And also, all the 6v6 maps, we really got a very little amount of 6v6 maps. Hackney Yard, I think, is okay. I can tolerate Piccadilly. I absolutely despise Cave. Arklov Peak is a really decent map. I like that map a lot. The Euphrates Bridge map, I quite literally think is the worst map in the game, to be completely honest with you. I really wish I didn't have to say it like that, but it's like I have a pure fiery hatred for that map right now. So Grasner Raid is okay. It grew on me a little bit. I still don't think it's the best map. I think they need to board up some windows, but it's definitely pretty decent. It's tolerable at best. Like I'd rather play that map over Euphrates Bridge. So, if that says anything. So, Gunrunner is a really nice map. I actually tolerate that map a little bit. Other maps. Ramaza is really good. I think that's my favorite map of all the 6v6 maps. It's just a really nice map, not gonna lie to you. So, in the other maps, really, they're either okay. If I forgot any maps, pretty much they're okay or mediocre at best. I don't really think there's really not a map that stood out to me that is just extraordinarily good, except for Ramaza. It's good, but it still doesn't stand out to me that well. But one thing I will say about the maps is how accessible they can be. Like, you can get to by accessibility, I did say, you know, so a lot of verticality can be pretty bad. What I mean though is being able to parkour like onto certain positions. You don't have to go through a building, go up some stairs, and there you go, you're in another room. You can actually get to that location by other different places. There's like points of entry that people can get at, so you can counter a lot of things. Sure, a lot of the maps kind of cater to campers, but whenever you learn the maps, I feel like, me personally, I feel like I'm rewarded for learning them, because I have countered quite a few campers because I had that map knowledge. So there's that. And that's actually going to segue into another con, and that is the oversaturation, I guess that you could say, of campers. The sheer amount of campers is absolutely horrendous. There's a lot of them. I don't feel like I'm being punished for playing aggressive. My typical playstyle is passive aggressive. This game you definitely got to take with a slower pace in mind. You can't just go cracked out of your mind, not 10 times out of 10 like in Black Ops 4, but you can still play aggressive, and I feel like I can do it because I've learned the maps, and you know, I'm able to counter these campers for about 8 times out of 10. Whenever we're in a spawn trap though, it can get pretty bad, and that's another con that I have, is the spawns. These spawns are absolutely horrendous still. They were improved a little bit from the beta, but there's still a lot of reworking that they need to do there, man. It's not that great. So that's all I'm going to say about the spawns. Another con, I guess you could say, I already mentioned it earlier, but it's the 2 ground war maps. I really wish we had some more ground war maps. Like, I wish we had Anaya Palace in Ground War instead of 10v10. I like it for what it is, but I think it's way too big for 10v10, and it should be taken out of 10v10 and put in Ground War, because I think it would actually really work as a Ground War map. I forgot about a pro. There's a pro that I have in the game, and that is the kill streaks. I think a lot of the kill streaks are kind of creative. There's a specific kill streak in there. It's not the white phosphorus, but it's the tank kill streak. When was the last game that we had that we could call in a tank that we could drive, but that's exclusively in the 10v10 mode and the 32v32 mode? I don't know if it's in Ground War actually, but in 10v10 it is. It's not in 6v6. The maps are way too small for there's like not enough room to have a tank in there, but you can have a Wheelson. The Wheelson is pretty much like the Mantis from Black Ops 4, but you have to control yourself. I don't think there is an auto for the Mantis, or for the Wheelson. Pretty cool name too. The white phosphorus streak is kind of okay. It's pretty cool, not gonna lie. I don't really like the smoke that gets on my screen, but it does change up the way the map looks a lot, and I kind of like stuff that does that. You got your typical chopper gunner. We finally got the advanced UAV, and then you got, you know, the gunship Juggernaut that plays heavy metal music and all that stuff. So streaks get the seal of approval from me. Anyways, back to some flaws. The minimap situation. I still do not like how the minimap works. At the time of recording this, there's actually a rumor that was revealed by a leaker, who said that they're completely overhauling the minimap and all that stuff. Like, they're reworking the minimap and they're going to turn it back to normal, and they're going to do a complete overhaul of the game. I'll believe it when I see it. In my flaws, I think the minimap just needs to go back to the way it was. That'll at least help people who like to play aggressive counter campers in the best way we possibly can. And that's another thing with the camping stuff. Claymores. I do not like claymores. Anything like proximity mines I can deal with, but claymores, you quite literally don't have any reaction to them whatsoever. The moment you meet it, you're dead. You literally can't control that. One of the biggest things that I do not like is not being able to control your life. Whenever you run into the Claymore, you're pretty much dead unless you have EOD on. But I don't want EOD to be such a crutch perk for me, even though I'm already rocking a crutch perk, which is Ghost. But yeah, I don't care that Dead Silence is a field upgrade. While I do wish it was a perk, I'm okay with it being a field upgrade. I think that's a pretty interesting one. And speaking of that, the field upgrades. I feel like there's only two useful ones out of the multiple that they put in the game. There's Tac Insert, which is okay, I guess. Then they got the Stopping Power rounds, which are only good on certain weapons. That's really it, to be honest with you. But the Ammo Crate and the Dead Silence, I think, are complete crutch field upgrades, to be honest with you. Last but not least with my cons is the gun balance. Actually, I got one more con after this, but the gun balance. There's a lot of times to where I would hit somebody with so many bullets, but then I would get two-shotted by the gun that they have because they have the Odin. The Odin is literally a two to three shot kill, and if somebody aims well with it, I mean, it's not even that hard to aim. If you aim well with it and they hit your shots, which can still be kind of fast, even though it does have a slow fire rate, when they hit both those shots, you're pretty much dead and you couldn't really do anything about it. But that's not really as big of a deal for me, to be honest. What's the big deal for me is the 725, I think, which is the double barrel shotgun. That thing quite literally is a sniper rifle. It can cross map people, and the sheer fact that it can even do that is downright ridiculous to me. So I think they really need to bring that gun down. I feel like the gun balance will be at an okay spot if they just nerf the 725. All the other guns are just kind of okay. Oh, the M4 definitely needs a nerf, because that's quite literally the meta of this game. The SMGs are a little weak. I do think they need to be buffed a little bit. And the AR category, specifically the M4, I think just needs to be toned down just a tad. It's way too reliable. I get that you're supposed to have a good assault rifle, but thing is, when you only have one good gun in the game, other than the 725 and the Odin, it kind of becomes stale and it gets really boring. Especially with the map count that we have if you just want to play 6v6. I personally play all the modes. I play the gunfight, the 10v10, the 6v6, and I completely forgot to mention in my pros that the 2v2 gunfight mode is still just as fun, but that's pretty much all I gotta say about gunfight. Anyways, second to last flaw, after, you know, the whole gun balance. The whole gun balance definitely needs a lot of adjustment. So buff SMGs, nerf the M4, and nerf the 725, and I think it'll be at a pretty decent spot. Also nerf the Claymore. So next flaw is some of the camos in the game. They're pretty stale. They're kind of lackluster, to be honest with you. There's a few good ones in there, not gonna lie, but I feel like they're kind of lackluster. I get that they wanted to get the realistic, like the realistic cosmetics, but I hope they, at least with the DLC and stuff, I hope they branch out a little bit when it comes to creativity and camos. Weapon variants are really cool, but like the variants that they have in the game so far are pretty cool. But I really think they should at least give us some pretty decently kind of on the line of realistic kind of camos. So I would like to see those come back to the game. But gold, I think, is one of the better camos in this game. Platinum seems pretty lackluster, and so does Damascus, to be honest with you. I don't know if I'm going to go for them this year because, quite frankly, they're not great. So, last but not least is the connection. You can kind of expect this from any game's launch at all. A game launches with a netcode that is tolerable, but there's definitely some times to where you die to the dreaded super bullet. Super bullet means you're shooting somebody 4 or 5 times, but then you die to 2 shots to them, and you know that the gun they're holding is not a 1 or 2 shot. And yes, there's the headshot multiplier. Yes, there's the gun balance stuff, but there's a lot of times to where the guy wouldn't get the headshot on me, and I would still die to like 1 or 2 bullets, and he hit me in like the leg or something, and he didn't have the Odin. So sometimes I would die around corners. That kind of happens with games at launch. They get better over time. So I really hope to see that get fixed very soon in the future. Infinity Ward released a really nice netcode video that I'll link in the description below because it's really cool. It's really cool. But so far, I don't really rate things, but if I had to recommend this game, I would say recommend it. I would recommend it to somebody who's the most hardcore Call of Duty fan. If you're a fan of Battlefield, definitely check this game out. If you're a fan of Rainbow Six Siege, or if you're just a fan of tactical gameplay, definitely check this out. But if you're somebody who wants to play games casually, I would wait a little bit, give it some time. Maybe wait for my 1 month in review, maybe like, 2020 review, something like that. Wait until then to see if they fix most of the issues about this game. Definitely, if you're a casual player, I would definitely hold off on getting this game. But if you're a diehard shooter fan who likes tactical, if you're a diehard Call of Duty fan, I recommend this game. So if there's anything that you guys think that are either a pro or a con, please make sure to let me know in the comment section below. If you did enjoy this video, make sure to leave a like and subscribe if you're brand new to the channel. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. I love you all. Have a great day.